My name is Laurids Lauridsen. I'm Professor of International Development Studies, and I'm attached to International Development Studies, but also to Global Studies, and employed at the Department of Society and Globalization. My research deals with economic globalization and the role of the state in economic transformation processes in the Global South. In relation to economic globalization, I'm particularly interested in the global restructuring of industrial production. For the time being, I'm looking at the role of the new emerging economic powers, China and India, and the way they impact upon the prospects of economic development in less developed countries. The issue here is whether the fact that China has become the factor of the world and India the office of the world give other developing countries new opportunities, or whether these Asian drivers will constrain future economic progress in these lesser developed countries. Or put more bluntly, is China a steamroller or a comrade? In relation to the role of the state in economic transformation processes in the Global South, I'm looking at contending theories and on Asian experiences. The prevailing idea has the last 15 to 20 years been that the introduction of good governance, that's a set of liberal institutions such as the rule of law, effective contract enforcement and absence of corruption, whether these liberal institutions are preconditions for economic and social development. It seems that's not the case. So although good governance is intrinsically good, it does not seem to be a necessary condition for economic transformation. Good governance institutions have not played that role in our own past. Actual liberal institutions came after we have had economic transformation. And the countries that have demonstrated most economic dynamism lately tend to have fairly bad institutions. Countries such as China, Vietnam, and Ethiopia are not democracies, and liberal institutions are not present there to any great extent. Inspired by the Asian NICs, that's South Korea, Taiwan, and Singapore, another set of theories have focused on the developmental state as a precondition for dynamic economic transformation. I've looked at that in a comparative study of Taiwan and Thailand, and among other things tried to argue that one should put more emphasis on the role of politics. A particular aspect of the discussion of the role of the state deals with proactive industrial policies. During the last 30 years, such activist industrial policies have been placed in the doghouse, but now in the wake of the global financial crisis, there's renewed interest in industrial policy. This sudden revival can be found in the US, in Japan, and in Europe, as well as in many countries in the Global South. So I have studied this revival of industrial policy in the context of new waves of globalization.